Watching your wife hold hands with your stepdad, and somehow you feel nothing. Not a flicker of anger, jealousy, or anything. Because you have no savings and you rely on your stepdad to get by. You start thinking about getting out of this family. That is when your mom slides a sponsorship contract across the table and drops the bomb: you are not her biological child. Her plan, to keep you as her personal pawn to get back at your stepdad. Staring at the tempting numbers, something stirs inside you, a mix of curiosity and pity. Over and over you have been fed the same lie, by your own brain, social media, and that one friend with an opinion. That investing is something you do after you have money, 1,000, 5,000, some magical number, that makes you feel worthy enough to enter the market. So here you are with $700 in your account, scrolling past everyone flaunting their crypto gains. Then closing the app and whispering to yourself, next month. That waiting is the trap. It feels responsible. It feels like patience, but it's neither. It's a perfectly designed excuse your brain feeds you, so it can keep spending on comfort today. Every week you delay, you are paying a tax on hesitation that nobody sends you a bill for. Harry, a warehouse picker earning $31.40 a month, figured this out at 7:30 on a Tuesday night. Not from a book, but from a 13-year-old who asked him why adults always say tomorrow. He moved $17, not 1,700, just 17. His coworker called it a joke. 4 deposits later, he had $77, then rent collided with new tires. The market dipped, and his balance shrank to 71. That same coworker waved a crypto screenshot in his face, like proof he was wasting his time. He stayed anyway, and by month 6 he was sitting on 483. His coworker who laughed had exactly zero. $654, that's what sat in his account after 12 months. Pull the receipt apart, $586 was his own cash. Moved in amounts so small he never once felt the sting. The other $68 showed up without him lifting a finger. The market generated it while he slept, while he drove that beat-up Civic, while he sorted packages on the night shift. Harry didn't earn it, time did, and time doesn't take sick days. Now run the math your employer is quietly begging you to run. Say your job matches 4%, and you pull in $52,000 a year. That match is roughly $280 annually. That exists in a pile with your name on it. You just have to contribute enough to grab it. Skip it, and that cash doesn't vanish into some corporate vault. It stays in a hallway you walked right past, every pay period, for years. $15 moved every Thursday at 8:05. That is $60 a month, $720 a year. Exposed to broad markets returning 7 to 9% after inflation across long windows. Not a guarantee, just what patience has collected from people willing to be bored. At 7%, that first 720 starts pulling weight on its own, compounding quietly underneath every new deposit, like roots spreading under concrete. Month 9, the market added $42 by itself, the machine matching the human. He didn't feel wealthy, he felt something worse for every excuse, he felt inevitable. Your brain wants the raise, the bonus, the tax refund. The moment that finally feels like enough. So it whispers, wait until you can do 100 a week. But every Tuesday you skip isn't just $10 gone. It's every dollar that 10 would have recruited over the next decade. The cost never shows up on a statement. It just quietly erases a future you never got to see. Week 16, a used gaming chair went on sale. Harry bought $32 in shares and texted his nephew instead. Month 9, the car needed brakes, $428, gone. Tuesday still ran, $10 that week, just 10. Not because it mattered to the balance, because it mattered to the identity. Brakes got fixed, Tuesday survived, and that's the part no calculator can show you. Here's what nobody prints on your pay stub. Every dollar that leaves your hands and never enters an asset is a dollar that compounds for someone else. Your landlord, your lender, the company selling you next day delivery at midnight. The system doesn't need you broke, it needs you spending. And spending feels like living, right up until you realize the math has been running against you for a decade. Take a number that sounds almost insulting, $15 a week. From age 27 to 37, parked in something boring at 7%. That turns into roughly $7,800. Now leave it alone, never add another cent. By 47 it doubles. By 57 it doubles again. That's the fracture line, not talent, not hustle, ownership. Harry felt it when his balance dropped $121 in a single month during year 2. His thumb hovered over the cancel button on that automatic transfer. The dip was doing exactly what dips do. They don't just shrink a number on a screen. They test whether you believe you deserve to be on the owning side of the equation. Harry added $5 to his weekly minimum instead. Not because he understood market cycles. Because Tuesday wasn't a feeling, it was a rule. 3 separate moments nearly killed his streak in year 2. A tax bill he didn't see coming, a coworker's stock doubling overnight, a broken transmission that wanted every spare cent. Each one whispered the same thing: you're too small for this game. He sold a guitar, he looked away from the coworker's screen. He kept the minimum and let the mechanic bill hurt somewhere else. By the end of year 2, his balance crossed $1,000. Proof that a warehouse picker on night shift could sit on the same side of the ledger as people who never think about $15. Working harder inside someone else's system just makes their asset column fatter. The only move that changes your column is putting something, anything, into a vehicle that compounds while you sleep. Pick up your phone, not tomorrow. Right now, while my voice is still in your ear. Open your bank app or your payroll portal, find the transfer button. Set a recurring weekly move into any broad index fund. The amount is $5. If $5 sounds embarrassing, good. Embarrassment means your ego is involved. And your ego is exactly the thing that kept you parked on the sideline, just watching coworkers pass you. $5 doesn't need courage, it needs a thumb and a Tuesday. Now lock it in with one more step that costs $0. Write yourself a recurring reminder, same day, same hour, every single week. The note says, I invest today because I'm an investor. Identity sticks where logic slides off. Then text one person you trust and tell them you're sending a screenshot of your deposit every week. If you skip, they roast you. Accountability isn't a motivational poster. It's a leash on the version of you that opens a delivery app at 11 at night instead of checking your portfolio. What about the market crashing the day after your first deposit? It will, sometime, and it doesn't matter. Because you aren't buying a lottery ticket, you're installing a system. Systems don't care about your mood or the headlines, they care about repetition. If your job offers any kind of retirement match, take it before you do anything else. That's free money sitting in a drawer you never opened. Every time you get a raise, don't upgrade your lunch order. Bump your weekly deposit by $5. Let lifestyle creep become investment creep instead. Got high interest debt hanging over you? Keep the weekly deposit at the minimum just to protect the habit. And throw everything else at that debt. The deposit isn't about the dollars right now, it's about keeping the identity alive. So you don't have to restart from zero when the debt clears. Harry did exactly this. His nephew laughed at a $6 dividend. His coworker pounded his chest about a hot trade. And on a random Thursday 30 months in, his account quietly crossed $2,000. And the dividends alone covered more than his old weekly deposit. Nobody clapped, nobody noticed. The machine just started pushing the cart alongside him. Somewhere around year 7, something strange happens. The account starts feeding itself. More than half the growth has nothing to do with what you put in. It's the machine doing what machines do. When you stop yanking the plug out of the wall, Harry saw that number and felt something he never expected, not excitement, relief. The kind that loosens your jaw. Because you realize the hardest part was already behind you. Buried in those flat, boring middle years where nothing seemed to move. And that's the part nobody warns you about, the boredom. Months where your balance barely twitches. And your brain screams that this whole thing is pointless. Harry survived it by turning each deposit into a tiny ceremony. He picked a person he loved, gave that week their name, and screenshotted the transfer into a private album. On the nights he wanted to quit, he scrolled through those receipts, not charts. Before you leave, drop one word in the comments. Just the day, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday.